Communication Error.
Welcome to episode 80 of Communication Error, a gaming debate podcast where we may not always agree, but if we listen to what one another has to say, maybe we'll be able to fix our communication error. I'm one of your hosts, Cheesy, and the man who is just sitting in that chair and I don't know, I've got nothing this week. Johnny Bo, how are you doing?
It's been a week. It
has been a week, but I usually will roll those off the top of my dome, and there's just nothing up there.
It's been a week. I have not felt like myself for the past week. So
yeah. Well, what did you do for your weekend?
The weekend I played a lot of Pokemon TCG Pocket, and I also played Lego Horizon Adventures with my girlfriend Kelsey, and there's a video on my YouTube channel that you should all check out. Please interact with it because it's sponsored and I don't want to look like a chump. But yeah, PlayStation
I've
sponsored.
Not checked it out yet.
Yeah, it's fun. Oh, she doesn't play games, but she's funny. It's a fun video. I enjoyed it. And if anybody is out there listening that thinks I'm lying about having a partner / girlfriend, she exists.
There's
or
proof.
Maybe I hired her. I don't know. Maybe I hired her for this one video. That would have been a baller.
It's funny that
move.
you mentioned Pokemon Pocket, because last week we were talking about they just need to have events, and then they were like,
they listen to us.
We were just listening to Communication Error. And we'll give you 3 events.
Yeah, I really liked it. I know last week I said, I like it, but I wasn't really enjoying it. But I really like it now. I've gone into the battling. I think the battling is fun as long as you have a meta deck. We talked about that last week, how you have to have essentially a deck that everybody uses, or you're kind of screwed.
I really, to be honest with you, haven't ran into that problem. I will just use.
What's your deck?
Right now, it's just electric.
So what are you using? Pikachu EX.
Yes, and then Zapdos.
That is a meta deck. That is the meta deck. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Pikachu EX, Zapdos EX, and then because Pikachu EX, I think is probably the best card out there. So I've been I run that deck a lot, but I also found a Blaine deck. We should just make this a Pokemon TCG Pocket video because I'm so excited about it. And Nolus Guy would be happy about this. But I made a Blaine deck which has no EX cards, which is big because for those listeners that don't know, EX, if they knock out an EX card, they get 2 points instead of 1. And if they knock out a non-EX card, it's only 1 point. But the way the Blaine deck works is you have Ninetales and Rapidash, and if you use Blaine, which adds 30 extra damage to Ninetales or Rapidash, and Ninetales does 90 damage base, add 30, it one-shots Pikachu EX.
Jeez.
And it's a much quicker setup than other decks.
Yeah. No, I've really been enjoying the game, and like I was saying in the last episode, you just need something to chase. I think that's what keeps people around, and they have the event right now that's keep winning and you'll get a gold. Yeah, you get an emblem, one with a crown that basically says you're the best or whatever. But it is a reason to get people into the battling part of this game.
Yeah, and there's even the Lapras EX event, which I think is pretty good because you could just keep kind of doing that a few times a day and get more. You get cards. I don't think you get XP every time. But yeah, the battle system I've been enjoying a lot more because I've been doing the event where you try to get, I think 45 wins is how you get the gold emblem. I think I'm at 15. I haven't played it
on the
too much.
Or what?
What?
On the gold?
No, I'm on 15 total wins, so I still need 30 wins to get the gold.
I can't remember because I did the participation, and then I'm on like this silver crown now, so I have 20 wins. But I'm pretty sure once I started that new emblem, it starts over from zero.
Does
So
it?
like the
I thought it
wins,
was 45 total wins.
maybe.
I might be, maybe
Yeah,
I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't know.
I was assuming it was 45 total wins. I might be wrong. I don't know. But so also I've made this a profitable thing for me.
Hmm.
I've been opening 10 packs, like the 10 pack.
Yep.
I'm doing that essentially daily, and that's like $10 a day. But for some reason, people love watching those on TikTok. Like everything, I've posted like 4 or 5 of them, and they're all at like 100,000 views.
Does that really surprise you?
It does, yeah, because I mean, you know how TikTok is. You might have
Yeah,
one
but
pop off, and then your next video gets 500 views.
I think a video like that, people are curious to see what it is that you
No,
pull.
yeah. I understand that, but they're also long videos. They're like 2 minutes long. So it's just it's fascinating, and yeah, maybe people that follow me for other content are not happy, but like I don't care. I'm getting that bag right now.
I was just thinking like Pokemon mobile games, they're fun. Like Pokemon Pocket, you have Pokemon Go, you have Pokemon Unite, you have Magikarp Jump. I mean, like these are bangers.
Pokemon Sleep.
Pokemon Sleep, yeah.
I was watching something. I watch like these financial videos. I don't know why, but this one guy on there, he spent like $500 in a month on Pokemon Sleep, and I don't know like
Why?
how or why.
Yeah.
I'll spend $500 in this month for Pokemon Pocket.
$500 for an app that helps you go to sleep.
I hope it
Or
helps him go to sleep.
yeah, yeah.
But I already got the I don't know if I should say spoilers. I already got the secret thing, and it's only been out for 5 days. And apparently, if you do it completely free to play, it's supposed to take 2 years.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that's the rumor anyway. I'm assuming
Hmm.
they don't know anything about events or stuff that lets you accelerate without spending money. Because
Hmm.
the even the battle event, they had some challenges where you could get a few packs if you completed them. Are you still free to play? 100%?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
God, it must be so boring. Must be so
No,
boring.
no, it's great.
I tried it for
Because I
one
just
day.
treat it as a mobile. It's just a mobile game, man. Like I'm not sitting in front of my TV. It's not like I'm playing a console game. It's a mobile game. Like that's what it's there for. That's why there's time limits on everything. And like I know they want you to spend more
They
money, but
want you to
it's
spend money.
I know I get that, but I'm not going to. Like I'm like, oh, okay,
I
well
think
that
12
was
hours is too long. I would say
oh for
six
those
hours. So
the
you get
Wonder
4 a
Packs
day
or
instead of
yeah,
2. I think 12 is way too long.
yeah. No, I agree with that.
Especially because like you could get a crap pack, which you get 98% of the time, and
Hmm.
then you're done for another 12 hours.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it would cause people to buy more if they're able to open more. Oh no. Okay. We're 9 minutes in. Let's not talk about Pokemon TCG Pocket the whole time.
I mean,
But
it is kind of go into our topic, which is do review scores matter? I mean, you have people who were saying that this game is gonna take you 2 years to like complete it, and I know that isn't really the same as review scores, but like it it says something about the people that are playing these games and if that's actually true or not. You know, the stuff that they write in these reviews, um, do they matter?
yeah, the reason I thought about doing this topic this week, and then also we talked about it a little bit last week. I forget what we brought up. Oh, because we were talking about Brothership, Mario and Luigi Brothership, how
Yeah.
IGN gave it a 5 out of 10,
Uh huh.
and like the internet kind of went all ablaze
Yeah.
upset about IGN giving it a 5 out of 10, but like, does it really matter?
I think also the fact that IGN will not stop talking about this game and keep posting the review score is a little weird.
Yeah, I think honestly, we talked a little bit about journalism, or we have an episode about journalism, and that was one of the points that was made, that I forget what game they gave a really low score to back when we talked about it, but then they just kept posting about it.
Had to be Star.
Oh yeah.
What is that game? I want to say Starlink, but I know that that is
No,
not
that's
the
Starlink.
game.
Oh my god, what is that
the
called? This is
Bethesda game.
Yeah, the Bethesda game. Yeah,
Yeah.
very memorable.
We are gaming podcasters, and we know everything about gaming.
I even made a video about the fast travel on that.
Oh my god.
Jeff Troyvania is
Troyvania.
yelling right now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's like, what are you talking about? I'm looking it up real quick. Sorry.
StarCraft.
No, that's a different game.
I think isn't that a show?
StarCraft? No, it's a game.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, I'll find it.
Star Trek. Is Star
Starfield.
even- Oh, okay.
Starfield. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think they gave it a fairly
They
low
gave it a
score.
7.
They gave it a
No,
7.
they gave it a 7. That's not
So
low.
it's way better than Mario and Luigi Brothership.
Yeah.
So
So wait. First of all, have you played Brothership?
I have played about a couple hours of it.
Okay, and your thoughts of that seems fitting, to be honest, because I have a feeling that when these games are getting reviewed, they're not playing them all the way through.
I think at the review, I watched the review. I wanted to be informed what their critiques were, and they did say they completed it. So,
Okay, all right.
but I played about 2 hours of it. I was super early. It is a slog. There's just too much narration.
Yeah, and we know how much you hate to read.
I hate it. All right, so okay, like I said, I've only played like 2 hours of this game, and I could see like the battle system is okay, but it's the same battle system as all the other Mario RPGs. So it's the same thing as Super Mario RPG and Paper Mario RPG. They're just turn-based with an action button, and it's like, okay, I'm sure this is. Like, it's fine, but there's been 3 other games that came out this year with the same exact battle style. And it's just like, it's not that exciting anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the biggest thing that was doing well for this game was the animation.
Yeah. But even the animation's pretty good. I do think the animation looks pretty good. The cutscenes look good. But when you go into the overworld, it looks like a Game Boy Advance game. Like, it's not.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't think it looks that good. And maybe it's because I've been playing PlayStation games recently. And, like, when you compare a PlayStation game to a Nintendo game, it's night and day.
So, in this case, would you say that they were correct about their review score?
I don't know about 5. 5 is super low. 5 nowadays, anyway, I think is like an unplayable mess. Like, glitches, bugs, just terrible all around. I could see if they gave it a 7, 7.5 would probably be better. I mean, overall, I think the Metacritic is like an 80. And I think that's slightly high, but I would say a 7 would be a better score. But maybe as I, if I want to play more, maybe I'll change my mind, because in the beginning it is a lot of like exposition and a lot of hand holding and a lot of just talking. And I'm like, I just want to, battle, or I just want to solve puzzles. Like, I don't want every 3 steps to be stopped to be like, okay, here's what you have to do here. And that was one of the complaints in the review is they tell you what to do like 99% of the time. The puzzles you already know what to do because they tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people love the Mario and Luigi series, and I don't know, I can't. Maybe I'm salty. I think I'm salty.
Salty because you wanted it to be better, or oh no, because you want Switch 2. You don't
I want
care
Switch
about.
2. I want Switch 2, and I also want a 3D Mario. Like, I am so annoyed that we got 3 Mario RPGs in the same year, and we can't get 2 3D Marios within 8 years of each other. Also,
You know that they're by different teams, right? They were all made by different teams.
yes, I know that, but look. I always say like not every Mario franchise is the same, but man, these are pretty close. Like the play style of these games are pretty close. The Paper Mario, the Mario and Luigi, and Super Mario RPG, they're pretty close. And maybe people are yelling at me through the screen right now because I'm crapping on their precious Mario and Luigi series. But
I think it is interesting how much Mario RPGs we have gotten, probably just because the Switch is an RPG machine. Like
that's
that's
true.
what
Maybe
a
that
lot
is.
of people play.
So we also had we had the financials come out, Nintendo financials come out,
Mm-hmm.
or for the second quarter or the first quarter, I don't remember. Whatever. We just had financials came out. And it was the first, or it was the second quarter where we saw Paper Mario sales,
Or it was the first
or
quarter.
the first quarter, or
Maybe
I don't know.
it was the second quarter.
So Paper Mario Thousand Year Door sold more than it did on GameCube, which is not surprising. It should. It would actually be more surprising if it didn't. But it wasn't much more. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. How much do you think it sold?
I'm gonna say 3 million.
No, it's like 1.8.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, I don't even know how to find this.
Does it upset you though, like if it did sell more on the Switch versus the GameCube, since you
No,
were
no, no. It
collecting?
doesn't upset me. It's just like, why are we spending so much time
Mhm.
on these games that sell 1.5 to 2 million units when we could get a new 3D Mario that would sell 20 million?
Okay, so kind of going back to the topic of
Yeah,
do
sorry.
review scores matter? I kind of go both ways on this because I did not play Brothership. I didn't even buy it. I was super excited
Were
for
you
it.
going to?
I thought the animation was really cool. A new Mario and Luigi RPG game sounded awesome. After how many years of not having one and Alpha Dream going bankrupt. So yeah, I wanted to check it out, but then I saw the review scores and it just seemed like I probably should wait. And that sucks. I hate that I saw a score.
And you only saw
And
one,
that-
right? You saw the IGN score, right?
Yep. That was it. And not that like IGN is my go-to, but I think I saw that score. I was kind of bummed by it, but then also at the same time I'm like, well, I guess like I don't need to play it. Like this wasn't a game that I was like super excited for. I was wanting to maybe play it, wanting to enjoy it, but it's also not like a heartbreaker to me that it's this low.
So I think it is, for personally, I do think review scores matter. Now, maybe not to me, and maybe even not to you, but to like the general audience, right? The people, the majority of people that buy these games, they're relying on these reviewers to let them know if the game is worth buying or not.
Mhm.
So I think reviews do matter. And I guarantee you're not alone when you saw, or when everybody saw that IGN gave it a 5. They're like, well, I'll just pass on it.
Yeah, okay, so I agree with that, but then I hate when people do the comparisons of like IGN said that this game is better than this game. And it's like, okay, one, this game was like 5 years old compared to this new game. And two, it's by a different reviewer. Like they're
Yeah.
going to have a different opinion.
That,
It's all subjective. So I don't, in that sense, I don't really think that review scores matter.
so yeah, I don't think a lot of people. Well, I do. I do think people understand that
Mm,
it's not one person reviewing literally everything.
I don't
But
think,
hold on,
I
but
don't think so. Yeah.
I do believe these like IGN. It's a big like news source. I do believe they should have more checks and balances. They should have, you know, I don't even that was probably a freelancer that wrote that review. I don't know. I know they do farm out some of that work, but like that should be. It's hard to say like don't post their opinion, but it should be kind of vetted to see if it makes sense. Maybe vetted against a few different people. But
That's
that I mean
just,
that's
that's
more
more
resources.
time. That's more
It's
cost. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean it is IGN is putting their watermark on there. They're putting their stamp of approval on there. So of course people are gonna compare.
And that's the problem, is that it's IGN, not the person who is reviewing it. It's IGN said
Yeah.
that this is better than this.
I mean and it is I mean I think that I mean IGN is the overarching. It's not. So I work for a firm, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can sign a tax return, but my firm is liable for that tax return.
Mm-hmm.
Just like IGN is liable. Like clients aren't like, oh well, John signed my tax return. No, they say, you know, the firm I work for signed my tax return.
Mm-hmm.
It's a business. I mean, I think comparing, it's going to happen. It's inevitable.
Okay, but and this is a bit of a tangent, but for listeners who, I mean, I don't think our listeners are like this, but if you go into a business and you get upset that something within the business happened and you want like your money back or whatever, and you are taking your anger out on this one person who had nothing to do with the problem that you were trying to solve, like, I think people need to recognize, like, hey, I know this is not your fault. I am upset. I just want to know, how can we take care of this problem? I'm not trying to voice my anger at you. But like, there's something that needs to be done. Instead of people who just go up to this poor person who is working a 9 to 5 job and is getting yelled at for something that's not even their fault. It's the company's fault. And I'm just making up a scenario
That's the
where
same
this
thing,
person
then.
isn't. What?
Like you're blaming the company and not the person that did it.
Well, but maybe you don't know who did it. That's the thing. You know, like maybe they're just
So
upset.
you're saying these people that are angry about this review should go after the individual reviewer?
No, not at all.
That's why like they have the umbrella of IGN to protect them.
I guess, okay. That's fair.
And everything, I mean, it's all subjective, right? We live in a world where these numbers are, you know, they don't mean anything.
Hmm.
They're just numbers. But people do put stake in them. And that's a lot of how IGN makes their money. Like people talking about the reviews, people reading the reviews, watching the reviews, that's how they make money.
Yeah, but then there's also the side of it where it could be clickbait because they know that's what is going to drive views or drive clicks or whatever it is. Like, I don't know, them posting the brothership so many times about this review score and saying it in different ways of how they think this game is bad. does that entice people to click on it, or is it like there's a vendetta? It's kind of weird when you look at how many times they have shared this opinion about brothership.
Well, let's
It
see.
must be working. You know what I mean? Like there must be people that are clicking on it and they have to distribute more. It's the same thing that they did with Starfield. Like they would not stop talking about Starfield when that game was a 7.
Yeah, I mean everything is the internet is driven by clicks.
Yeah.
But I mean I'm scrolling their feed right now, and they post a lot. So maybe the only reason you're seeing the brothership stuff, is because the people that you interact with are interacting with the brothership stuff. They're not interacting with these. I mean, there's a Madden post. There's I haven't even come across brothership in a. I'm scrolling for a bit.
Well, there's also other IGNs too. Like it's not just one IGN. There's IGN France, IGN Japan.
Yeah, but those ones gave higher scores, so they wouldn't be tweeting the lower score. Okay, so they did tweet it one day ago, twice. I'm just seeing if there's more interactions on this. 413,000 views compared to
what?
I'm just looking at 1.2 million. Yeah, they definitely. So like the brothership post, they get a lot more views and interaction than their other posts. So that's why they do it. But I haven't seen it like a ton. It was definitely twice yesterday. Oh, there's another one. 3 times yesterday. But yeah, their stuff is so much. They definitely post it for interactions. And
and they
maybe
post
they
so
did.
Much.
Maybe they did.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe they did give it a lower score than everywhere else to get interactions. But that's why as consumers we have to use our judgment to see if their opinion affects how we feel. Because there's a ton of other reviews out there. If you think that review is too low, go check out another review and see if they say something different.
Yeah. Or I guess like go check out your favorite content creator. They're probably playing the game and you're probably going to take their word for it. And I get like go check out other sources, but if we're talking about do review scores matter, you're probably going to watch someone that you enjoy like their content and see what they have to say about the game. And then it's not even about the company anymore.
Whenever a game comes out, a lot of the conversation revolves around the Metacritic score, which is the total overall encompassing of everybody, all the reviews. So a lot of people were talking about how it got an 80 on Metacritic. And I do think it affects how people make their purchasing decisions. Because why spend $60 on a game that got an 80 on Metacritic versus a game that got a 90 on Metacritic?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's like another reason why I didn't buy it is I'm saving money. Like it doesn't seem like an experience that I'm missing out on and something that like I said, I think it would have been fun to play, but I only saw the one review score. Maybe I should have looked at other ones, but also just some of the videos that I have seen. Look, I love Luigi, but I think this game would really make me annoyed with Luigi.
I don't like Luigi, and this game annoys me with Luigi.
Why are you a hater?
Because he's a coward. All right, we shouldn't
Luigi, He's brave. Mario's not going in hunting
Mario
ghosts.
is goated, always will be, always has been. Mario's goated.
Um, I just think that like I I do think that review scores matter, but I also think that they don't. And there's even a, podcast for Rotten Tomatoes called Rotten Tomatoes is Wrong, and they will talk about some of the scores that they have on their site and just discuss why it shouldn't have this score, good or bad.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all subjective, right? My review of Brothership or my review of a game would be different than your review of a game, or
Mm.
my review of a movie would be different than your review of a movie. So saying
Do
that
you,
that
do you
Rotten
think
Tomatoes is
that
just wrong is that in itself is wrong.
do you
Opinions aren't
think
wrong,
a Goofy movie is a 59%?
and that's probably high. It's a
I'm
kids
asking
Disney
you.
movie. It's not good.
I'm asking you.
I mean,
Are you
honestly, I
saying
probably
that
have never seen it, but like, it's not.
you've never seen a Goofy movie?
Probably not because I'm mature and
What?
I don't live by memes. I was watching the better Disney movies back then, like the Mighty Ducks.
I can't believe.
But you think an
You don't know
animated
Zipline?
an animated Disney movie like not even a not even like Lion King or Aladdin or Hercules, those movies, just like this offshoot weird spin-off movie is better than a 59%? Nah.
You and I are not seeing eye to eye right now, and you don't even get that reference.
I think I do. But here, I'm gonna pull up Rotten Tomatoes right now. And people don't even understand how Rotten Tomatoes works.
Nope.
Because it's not like Metacritic. Metacritic takes all of the scores and like averages them. Rotten Tomatoes just takes if a critic recommends the movie or not. And then, if more recommend the movie than don't, then it will have a higher Rotten Tomato score and vice versa.
Should there be an audience score for gaming? Like, say IGN had
There
their
is.
own. There's an audience score for
On Metacritic,
IG.
yeah. And then it's terrible because it's usually a lot of things get review bombed.
So then, do review scores matter?
Not user reviews. I 100% at least. All right, so if you user reviews, you have to take it with a grain of salt because if people are putting a 0 out of 10, like there's no way it's a 0 out of 10. Or a 10 out of 10. A lot of games are not 10 out of 10. But if that's how user scores are, it's either like the best game ever or the worst game ever. Mm-hmm. There's no real nuance there.
I want to correct myself real quick because I was in a heated moment and I asked if you knew the band Zipline. It's Powerline. So
wow, you're
wrong. Who are yelling at me, I corrected myself.
But like, I mean, there's definitely. I don't really put much stock into like Rotten Tomatoes. I don't put much stock into reviews anyway because I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford them.
So you're saying that they don't matter then?
No, but they do matter to certain people, not to me.
But they don't matter to you.
No, because I could form my own, which everybody should form their own opinion, but not everybody can afford to buy every game.
Yeah.
In order to form that opinion. So these outlets that are reviewing and creators that are reviewing games are important for those people to make those decisions on if they want to buy a game or not. And it is important.
It does make me wonder how much they actually care about the review score. Because like do you think that they are trying to help others make a purchasing decision, or because of the age of the internet, like the age of the internet, where the internet's almost dead. Um, that they're just doing it to get reactions out of people.
I mean, there's probably a little bit of both. I mean, their business model is built on clicks. So if
Mhm.
they have a, you know, the way they get more money is get more clicks.
Mhm.
But not everything that they put out, like not all of the reviews are clickbaity. Um, and maybe Mario and Luigi, maybe Mario and Luigi, the guy wanted to give it like a 7, but then they're like, you know what, we'll do a 5 because that would get more interaction, and it's possible, but I don't know. I don't want to question somebody's journalistic integrity
Mhm.
over a a video game.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been times where there's games that get bad review scores, and you end up liking those games. And maybe that's even better because you go in with like a super low expectation of it. And then when you're actually playing it, you're like, oh, you know what? This is kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean it's always up to you to you to form your own opinion.
Hmm.
And people, people like to argue on the internet. So like
Uh,
people have built like platforms, their entire platforms on arguing about like if Xbox games are better than PlayStation games, or PlayStation games are better than Xbox games, or Nintendo games are better than, actually nobody cares. The console wars are weird because nobody cares about Nintendo, and PlayStation and Xbox are fighting for third or second place. So it's like, why don't you care about Nintendo? But I mean, people have whole whenever I'm trying to think. There was the Xbox game that just came out recently, or the even the Starfield thing. Like that was a big. People were posting about how Starfield sucks and everything that PlayStation
mhm.
makes is better than it, and they were
Were
showing.
you were you talking about Hellblade?
There's also Hellblade, which didn't get that high reviews either. No, I think I was thinking of Concord.
Oh,
How everybody felt kind of justified, or like Xbox felt vindicated. Xbox people
mm.
felt vindicated by that. But it's also, I think that game actually reviewed decently well. Like I don't think it. Hold on, now I gotta look it up.
So our friend Seth, $2 hero, who is all in, and the Koopa Cast and Carpool Gaming, all of that. He doesn't do review scores. He'll talk about the game. You know, we've been on the show before where it's like talk about the gameplay, talk about the music, talk about the story, um, and then there's other elements to it, but they don't give it a review score, and they just talk about their thoughts of the game and let people form their own opinion. Exactly what you've been saying. So, would it be better if these companies didn't add a score to it, but went into depth about it? Like, I know that they already make videos that are like almost 8 to 10 minutes long, uh, giving their opinion of the game, but then adding the review score on top of it probably solidifies whether that person is going to buy it or not because of the score, not so much of just the experience that they may have for themselves.
I can guarantee you 99% of people did not read or watch that review of Brothership. They just went to see the
They
score.
just see
And
the
that's
number.
how all reviews, I feel like all reviews that have numbers are. People just go, even if you look at the comment section of like when they post a review, um, they just like there's a lot of comments that are like, oh, they gave it a 5, they gave it a 7, they gave it an 8. There's
Yeah.
not there's no nuance. It's just the number. So people see the number, and that's about it. I'm trying to think of a bigger out like I think Game Explain doesn't do um,
Good
scores.
vibes. Good vibes gaming. They don't do a score.
Yeah, and I wonder how their stuff like, does. It's also I don't know, maybe I seem cynical or I'm going to sound cynical on this one, but it feels like they're afraid of the backlash to if they give it a score. Because
Mm,
say they give it a 7 when everybody else is giving it a 9 or a 10. They're gonna get backlash, and I guarantee there's no way we could go into after there's no way we could get away from review scores now. Like it's too ingrained in
sure.
our culture. And
I just want to say I think it's more of a cop out to just put a number.
but they don't just put a number. They have a whole written review.
I know. And then you put a number at it at the end of it, and like I
I think it's a cop
I
out not to put
personally
a number.
I just don't think it really
Like
adds to
like
the
you're
conversation.
talking about how you feel about the game, or you're talking about the game itself, what it is, how it plays, and all that stuff. But then you're not telling people like how you felt about it, like or
No, that's
how
not
you
true. People
if
can
you
say like
think
they
it's worth
recommend
it or
it.
not. Like it's not
Yeah.
the number is to say like if you would recommend it or not, or how likely are you to recommend it.
But even those scores are subjective. Like
Well, that
isn't isn't
so is the whole no
IGN's
score thing. That's
is
subjective.
yeah, but isn't IGN's like 7 and okay? Like under their they all of their numbers have like a word underneath them.
Yeah, I mean this whole thing's subjective.
Or 8 is great.
But if you think a game is great, why not give it an 8? It gives the consumer like we have it ingrained in our brain. If you hear something like, "Oh, I think this game is great," but then they don't say, I would give it an 8 or 8.5. Like people might just not. They might just brush it off. The number helps them visualize, like, okay, that's how this person, out of 10, that's how this person feels about this game.
I guess. I guess one of the arguments I had when I was studying acting and directing is I would love to go see movies like weekly, just because that was the field that I was in, and I wanted to see, the art that was being put out, some of the actors' approach, the directing, the writing, all of that. And the one thing that I feared was when Rotten Tomatoes came out, people were just going off of the review score. And that worried me because if it got a bad review score, honestly, if it got below a 70 or if it was a 70, most of the time people don't go and like see that movie or check out whatever it is. And if that's something that you are pursuing, I think you need to go see some of these movies that do get bad, quote unquote, bad review scores, because it you can study from them and say like, oh, okay, I like what they did here, I don't like what they did here. And the same thing is like playing. Maybe you're not creating a video game. If you are going into that field, maybe you should play some of these games. But even as a player, shouldn't you be playing these games that maybe don't have a great review score so you know what it is that you like and don't like for the next purchase?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you can. But I mean, that's really a personal preference thing. Like, if you want to play a quote unquote bad game to see why it's bad,
Mm.
then yeah, you should do that. But if you're looking, because I think a lot of people don't want to play a bad game. Most
I
people
don't
don't
know
want to
for
play a bad
for
game.
content. There's been this game on my Twitter that's like Piglet's Big Adventure or something like that, and it just looks like it's a Winnie the Pooh game. But when you're playing the game, like the music is like horrifying, and it's all about Piglet's fears, and it's just this really upsetting. Like it's a real game. It's not like a fan made game. Like this was a game that Disney put out, and it's been making the rounds recently of like people talking about their childhoods and how much they thought this game was scary when they were kids.
I mean, I've definitely played my fair share of bad games. I don't think Porky Pig's Great Adventure was actually a good game, but I remember playing it a lot because it was.
Have you streamed it?
No. No. I mean, I've definitely. There was some really bad ones on Switch. There's like the King Kong game. Oh, and there was Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wasn't
that
there
one was
a Gollum
bad.
game?
Oh yeah, there's a Gollum. Yeah, that was not a good game. And you can see that if a game is bad, that one definitely was bad. Like the sales reflect it. It was not. It did not do well.
Okay, so that's another part of the conversation is like the review scores don't help. They could or can't help developers.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think developers always want a higher review score
Sure.
because they don't want. Well, one, they want their work to be appreciated,
Mm-hmm.
but two, they also want it to sell. And it's just a fact of the matter. A high review score is going to sell more than a low review score.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ideally, even though Astrobot didn't sell that well. Well, in my eyes, I don't think it sold that well.
I was gonna say it sold pretty well for, I think what they were like.
It sold less than 1-2 Switch.
Dude, for a PlayStation game though, for a PlayStation platformer,
Their games sell like 20 million copies, or no, like 10 million copies. Like
But
God of War, Spider-Man,
yeah,
and Astrobot sell
Astrobot,
a million and a half.
looks like a Nintendo game.
Yeah, but that's like people don't want to buy 3D platformers that are not Nintendo. That's why Banjo would not succeed unless it's on Nintendo platforms. And it might not even sell that well. I honestly thought that Paper Mario and Super Mario RPG were going to sell more than they did.
Because of just the brand itself?
Yeah, because the brand itself, and there's 150 million Switches out there. And they got good reviews. But it's a vocal minority that wants these games. Like, sorry, Xenoblade fans, but I don't think Chronicles X is going to sell that well.
So, oh really? You don't?
No, it's a Wii U game that nobody really cares about.
And I mean, it's a niche title, but you don't think that there's...
It will sell a million and a
Xenoblade,
half, maybe.
Hasn't it been growing though since it's been on Switch?
Possibly. I think 2 is the highest selling one. I don't think 3 hit as high as 2 did.
Oh, that's surprising to me.
But I don't know. I don't see it happening. If it was on Switch 2, it would probably sell better.
So
a lot of the review of Mario Brothership, that the IGN one, was talking about performance issues.
Uh-huh.
I'm sick of hearing about performance issues.
I mean, that's been like day one, honestly.
Yeah, but it's been 8 years. We expected it back day one, but now it's been 8 years. We need a new system. Especially if you're having performance issues with Nintendo made games, Like, that's a problem. Zelda had it, or Echoes of Wisdom had it. Now Brothership has it. Like, it's time. And I don't want a stupid theme park direct when I'm
You
not going
didn't
to be able
like
to go
it?
to Japan.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought that was kind of fun. It looks cool.
I watched with Kelsey, and
Yeah.
she's like, this is super boring.
Oh, oh, like I watched that whole thing and I was just like, Miyamoto, you are a treasure. Like
Well, she was
the
like,
way that that man
why
can
is it
have
so
so much fun.
stilted? Why is it so boring and stilted? And I'm like, oh, well, he's the creator of Donkey Kong and Mario. And
Uh,
she's like, oh, that makes sense because he's not a PR person.
True. Yeah.
But it was like, who is this for? Who is this for? So 99% of the people watching that were not going to go to Japan. I know it's coming to Florida, but even most people aren't going to go down to Florida. Like, what is the point of that direct?
To show that they are building on their brand. It's not just games.
I'm just over it. I'm just over all these non-console announcements.
You bought $100 alarm clock.
I did to show them that I'm still here. I'm still supporting, even though they are making it very difficult right now.
So I guess with review scores, like, because I just don't know, does Fortnite have a review score?
They do. Well, I know some outlets review Fortnite every year or every so often.
Mm.
Like IGN does it. I know that for sure.
So every year that review score could change over time.
I think so, or it's
not
every season. I forget if they review seasons, or it definitely gets reviewed like from time to time, and even multiplayer games. I do believe they get reviewed like whenever there's a big update, or new seasons might get reviewed. A lot of people were doing reviews of Mario Kart courses. IGN might have even done it.
like their top like 20 courses or
No,
something.
like gave it a score. Like how a score for the booster pass.
Oh yeah. The DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like, I guess they do review scores for DLC, but isn't that kind of weird when you think about
I think it's
this is the review score of the game, but this is the review score of the added content.
Well, I'm thinking of TV shows. The way they review TV shows is they review by episode, but then they do like an overall season review at the end. I think it makes sense because if you're spending extra money to get the DLC, you probably would want to know if it's worth the money.
Mm.
So I think it kind of makes sense. And a lot of them do reviews and process, like if the multiplayer is not fully out. Like a lot of them, when they get the review codes, the servers aren't up. So they do a review in progress, and then like a week or two later, they review everything, like all the multiplayer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense if there are people considering purchasing, like spending money. I think review scores are important, and they will always be important. Because how else will people decide what games they want to buy or not? Unless they're like me and you just buy every Nintendo game, but that's like so expensive.
Right.
Not everybody can do that.
I think I get why they have review scores. I think I just think of it more about the artistic side of things, where like that's a main reason why people hate like award shows is how can you say that this thing is better than this thing or this other project? Like every project is going to be different and mean something and have a different emotion behind it, and yet you can compare it.
But don't you want to have people be recognized for their accomplishments? Like,
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's why they have the categories. I know some of them don't necessarily line up perfectly,
A
but
bear is not a comedy. I'll tell you that.
there's not a comedy. I thought it was comedy, and
It's
I thought it's
so
lumped together.
no. Whenever it is at the awards, it's a comedy, and like yes, it does have some comedic moments in it, but that
Oh, you're talking. Oh,
show
you're talking
is-
the bear. You're talking. Okay.
What did you think I was talking about?
I thought you said it doesn't have the award show doesn't have a comedy. But I must have misheard
no,
you.
I'm talking about the
A
show,
bear.
the bear.
Yeah, the bear. I
Yeah.
mean, they also adjust their categories. Through like maybe they will have. I don't even know what you would that be like a dramedy? Like, do they have a dramedy
They don't.
category? Maybe they have a dramedy
there's-
category because they have shows like The Bear, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, a lot of shows that are classified as comedy. I don't think they're comedy. Maybe they are.
Mhm.
I
It's
don't
just
know
weird
what,
when you have the bear go up against like Abbott Elementary and Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah, I mean, I think Abbott. Abbott's like a dramedy too. They have different feels.
I was
But
gonna,
they
it's
do
probably
cover
more
serious
comedic, though.
topics.
Sure,
Uh,
but it's I don't know. And adding dramedy, like you're saying, that's just gonna make those shows even longer. You know, we had a whole conversation about the Game Awards. Those are already so long.
well, maybe if they would actually focus on giving the awards as
Yeah,
opposed to
true.
all the other nonsense.
Yeah,
I don't know. I do think awards are important. Review scores are important. Like, what are we, as an artist, like, what would you do it for? Just
not you do it to tell the story that you've always wanted to tell.
and
Maybe
then
it
then it
inspires.
doesn't. Then it shouldn't matter to you, right? Then it shouldn't matter. Then review scores shouldn't matter, and awards shouldn't matter if you're just doing it because you love it. Then if your game gets a 2 out of 10, that gets a 2 out of 10. You did what you wanted to do, and it didn't resonate with other people. But on the consumer side, I think it's important. And like I don't know what would happen if review scores go away. Like that's the majority of the content that I consume from like IGN. It's reviews. Like I don't really watch their other content or look at their other content.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to like, you know, Nintendo Power Magazine. They had scores as well.
I'm sure those were completely unbiased. I mean, as intelligent people, we should look at reviews critically, right? We should look at a review score and be like, does that make sense for me?
Mhm.
But people don't do that. They're like, oh, that they gave it a 5. It's a 5. But we should look at it critically. Same with like Nintendo Life or whatever gave Brothership a 9 out of 10. They have Nintendo in their name. Shouldn't we be like, is that really unbiased? You know, maybe you have some metric in your head like, oh, they gave it a 9 out of 10. Then for me, that's probably like a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Mhm.
Same with like Famitsu. They like Famitsu's so biased. They're all so biased. Anything with like Nintendo in their name, and it's fine.
I guess I will say, like, when I was listening to Nintendo voice chat, anytime Tom Marks had a recommendation for an indie game, I usually would check out that game because I just felt like I always aligned with the games that they enjoy.
Yeah,
And,
I
like,
mean
that
that's
was what.
I mean that's what you should if you know somebody that has like a similar taste to you and they recommend a game, then yeah, you could probably put more weight into their opinion.
Mhm.
Like I'm sure everybody that bought Balatro because of me thinks I'm the smartest guy alive.
But again, when I was, jeez, when I was listening to Nintendo voice chat, sometimes it was just the games that they were playing at the time, games that they recommend, and there wasn't like a number attached to it. You know what I mean? Like it was just them talking about the game, and because I think I align with that person's opinions on video games, I think that I may enjoy it just based off of what it was that they were saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's any approach you want to take. Some people look at the review scores, and other people listen to recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why, like, man, top 10. If you're a content creator, or if you want to get into content creation, top 10 lists. Just make top 10 lists. People love them. They eat them up. And there's no scores there. I mean, there's, I guess, a ranking.
Yeah, there's a ranking, and people will like probably agree or disagree with you, and that's like what gets people talking about it.
But I mean, I've definitely bought games because I buy a lot of games that All In had like covers on their channel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that they, those games are probably pretty good. They'll probably be up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what game I bought. I just buy games too. Oh, I found out. I figured out who caused this issue. It was my uncle.
For buying these games?
For buying games, yeah. Because so I went to a wedding last week, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. My uncle was there, and he was the one that essentially got me into video games. And I was talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I just buy games. I just order games, and they just sit in the package." Like, he doesn't even open the package, like the Amazon package. It's just like in the package. I at least have I got, I have some games that are factory sealed, but like he's are just like in an Amazon box, just sitting there. He's like,
what do you think that's about?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of like the dopamine hit that you get from buying a game.
Is it retail therapy?
Probably. He said, he's like, I know it's a problem. And then I told him, I make content, and he's like, oh yeah, I've always wanted to do that, and I had this idea that I would open those games that I ordered, because it's not just like this past year, it's like years. So he would just like randomly open one of these packages and just play that game no matter what it was.
That's not a bad idea. That is crazy though, to think that like you have packages from years ago. Like, what was the point of buying the game if you're not even going to play it? If you're not even going to look at it, you're not even going to like acknowledge it.
Nah, no comment, because I do that.
Yeah,
like I still have an open Sparking Zero. That is definitely shopaholic. It's definitely like retail therapy. It's definitely, I tend to buy more games when I'm stressed out. So like in September and October, I tend to buy a lot of games, and I don't really have time to play them, so they just kind of sit there. Like, I think I bought all the major fall releases so far.
But like, okay, so I understand that you buy them because they like help you with the stress, but like you don't play them. So what part of it is helping you with the stress? Like the fact that
knowing
you
that I
can
play it, the fact that they are there, that I
and then when you're not busy, you'll be able to play them.
Yeah, exactly. But then
don't.
A new game comes out. I'm like, oh, I'll play that. Like, I played like a little bit of Mario Party. I played a little bit of Brothership. And I probably played like 20, 30 hours of Pocket, Pokemon TCG Pocket. But I'll still buy, what else is coming out this year? There has to be other things, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Because I haven't
You
bought
only have a
Mario
Switch.
Party. Yeah, but I also haven't bought Mario Party. I haven't bought Brothership. The last game I bought was Echoes of Wisdom.
I do think Mario Party is good. Jamboree. Like I think it's probably one of the better Mario parties that they've made.
What was that review score? Was that good
That's the high. It's the highest reviewed Mario Party
on Switch or ever?
ever. It's like an
No
80.
way.
It's like an 80 on Metacritic. I'll be interested to see how that game sells. Because we know how much Echoes of Wisdom sold in like 5 days, I think. It was like 3 million, close to 3 million. So not bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be really interested to see how Super Mario Party sells, Jamboree, because we know Super Mario Party, the last one, sold like hotcakes, and that game didn't review well. I'll say that I don't think reviews.
Hold on, the last Super Mario Party. Not
Super
not
Mario
Party
Mario Party,
Superstars?
not Mario Party Superstars.
Yeah.
But even Mario Party Superstars sold like 10 million or whatever. It sold like 10, 11 million.
Okay, because it's not on like the top 10 best Switch.
No, Super
list.
Mario Party is, which is at like 20 million. I actually have that. I had that up. But I'll be really interested to see how this Mario Party sells because it has a higher review score than Super Mario Party, but it is like late in the life. I will say, other than this brothership thing, I don't think people care about Nintendo review scores. They just buy it no matter what. At least if it's like, Mario, Zelda, Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
They're big flagship titles.
Mm-hmm.
Like Super Mario or New Super Mario U, Super Mario Bros. U, is also in the top 10 selling games, and that does.
Yeah.
I don't think that reviewed well. Oh, and Pokemon.
That's a fair point. Like, I guess looking back, I haven't bought Super Mario Party Jamboree because I wasn't a big fan of Super Mario Party.
Oh, it's much better than that.
Yeah, I played.
You're not forced to do motion.
I played a couple of games where it was like 10 turns, but even 10 turns was like 90 minutes.
Oh yeah. It's like I actually haven't played a Mario Party. Like I've done the new things, the 20-person battle royale thing and the imposter Bowser thing. Those are quicker. But yeah, you're right. Those games, like I think 15 turns is like 2 hours or something.
Well, I think that we are probably coming up on an hour or past an hour.
Over an hour.
And do review scores matter? I would say, yeah. And you can leave us a review score on Apple and Spotify. Yeah, leave us 5 stars. Tell us what you like, what you didn't like. We'll read it on the show. I guess that is, yeah, they matter. Like, do I want them to matter? No, I hope that we all could make our own opinion and be subjective and not have to be sheep looking at a number. But at the same time, that is what made me not buy Brothership at this time. Like, maybe it's something that I will get as a gift, and like I'll play it, but like a day one purchase, nope.
Yeah, I saw the 5 out of 10 and I was like a little taken aback. I'm like, maybe I won't buy it, but nah, I bought it.
But did you buy it because of just Nintendo being a content creator did you actually want to play it, or did you buy it just because of the Nintendo brand?
I was interested to see how it would play versus the other RPGs. And it was Nintendo's like big fall release, I guess, because it's in that slot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I bought it because it was Nintendo. Like I said, I only really like Zelda and 3D Mario.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently mobile games. Card games, actually, because I really like Balatro. And I like Marvel Snap when I played it.
Did you play Neon White?
Yeah, but I enjoyed what I played of that. That was a little
And
bit
then
different.
you
That wasn't too much of a card game. I like Solitaire. I doubt that has a good review.
All card games most of the time are or for mobile, I guess for you is like easy to play because you don't need friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like these like mindless. I guess it's not that mindless. I like these mindless things where I can turn my brain off and not really have to think, or read, or listen to dialogue. I just want gameplay. Just gameplay. Give me that gameplay. That's all I want.
You uh, we should talk about mobile gaming at some point. Do you play mobile games because it's just on your phone? Like you have your phone.
I honestly don't play mobile games. Like, this is the only one that I've played. The only ones that I've played are like Nintendo ones and Marvel Snap for a bit. But other than that, I mean, I think back, when like mobile gaming really took off with like Angry Birds and
Yeah.
and
No,
Fruit
okay,
Ninja.
wait. We should save this
Yeah,
conversation.
okay, yeah, that's fun. But yeah, I haven't. I don't play mobile games very often, unless any. I wish Pokemon TCG. Sorry, I'm out of focus. Elgato, fix your software. I wish this Pokemon TCG was linked to your. Well, it is linked to your Nintendo account. I wish you get platinum points. I'm broke. I'm a broke baby. Nintendo should let me buy platinum points. I would spend money to buy platinum points. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
review scores. Yes, leave reviews because if we look like we have a 5 out of 5 review score, maybe more people will be like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
We'll listen to that.